Okay, Principles of Passion, take one.
It's Principles of Passion.
Molly and I share a passion.
Hey, I am very passionate.
Oh, how nice.
It is his passion.
Michael and I share a passion.
Bit of a passion for me.
It's my passion.
I've learned a lot, and I followed my passion.
Here's your host, Chris Thomas, with Denora Robles and Dominic Semino on intellectualradio.com. Principles of Passion.
Thank you for joining. Radio.com. This is Principles of Passion. We're talking about confidence today, and I got my co-host Dominic. Denora's out. She had a client dinner tonight. Sorry, we missed you, Denora, already. And then we have our guest. That's a good friend of mine, Darren Freeman with Talent Hue, owns his own staffing firm focused on underrepresented students and underrepresented people as a whole, diversity, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Thanks for the invite. I'm glad to be with you guys. And as mentioned, my name is Darren Freeman, and I own a recruiting company that focuses on national diversity recruitment services. So I partner with companies that have diversity hiring initiatives and work with underrepresented groups, which fall under African Americans, women, Hispanic, Asians, any underrepresented group. And I'm just kind of the middleman and try to match the two groups up and hopefully put some good employment opportunities in front of some strong minority candidates.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
No, my pleasure.
So those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, I appreciate it. Those of you that have been here for the past couple episodes, I appreciate it. Just to give you the background, we're just trying to have an open focus group about following your passion as you go through barriers, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of us go through barriers. Most of us, I think all of us, as we try and follow that passion. And so what you can do for me at home is call in if you have gone through a struggle and you want to get that out. Since we're focused on confidence today, I really want to hear from people that have gone through barriers and challenges when no one else was on their side, right? When it was just them and they had to be confident. So the way that you can tune in is either on Instagram, Your Passion First, Your Passion 1ST, or the phone number 708-223-8953. Just going forward, if you tune in and you hear about us, we want to hear from comments, concerns, ideas, things we can change about this to make it more inviting for you. Again, our goal is to be inspired, but also to inspire people. So I want to have great hosts like Darren on that are willing to tell their story and talk through those challenges and hopefully inspire someone else out there. So again, thank you both. Quick quote from one of my inspirations, Walt Disney. He said, "The secret of making dreams come true can be summarized in 4 C's: curiosity, confidence, courage, and constancy. And the greatest of these is confidence." That's
Powerful one.
That's powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Darren, in kind of your pursuit of passion, and what are you passionate about?
Well, I for me personally, I think I'm passionate right now in this stage of my life in terms of really just trying to help people from a career development and a career progression perspective. I think there are a lot of people that may be stuck in a particular career or job or whatever the case may be, and they're looking for that something that's gonna be a change and kind of point them in a different direction from where they're currently going. So I take a lot of, or I say I get a lot of satisfaction from being able to help people and point them in another direction from where they're currently going.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Highly respectable.
Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough job. And that's how I met Darren 2 jobs ago at a recruiting firm we both worked at. Mm-hmm. And throughout the time frame from then till now, we've shared some cool recruiting experiences.
Recruiting is definitely it's a very fulfilling job. As I mentioned, you get an opportunity to help people get jobs, help people get promotions, help people relocate. There's several different ways that you can benefit people. But as Chris mentioned, there is also a lot of hilarious stories that go along with being in recruiting as well, because people are funny and people do funny things. You'd be surprised at some of the things people do when they're trying to get a job.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
No, so I appreciate you just kind of sharing. So really, just to sum it up, it seems like you've kind of found your passion through staffing, being able to help people uncover their motivations in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, kind of what's gonna get them.
I had been in staffing a number of years, but I even being in staffing, I was still looking for, my calling, if you want to call it that, or what I should be doing with my life and with my career. And ever since I decided to start my own firm and focus on diversity, I really find myself waking up now being happy about what I'm doing and not looking at it so much anymore as a job. It's something more of a passion, and I get a lot more satisfaction now than I ever had at any of the other jobs that I was doing, because of the simple fact that I'm doing what I love. And when you're fortunate to do something that you love and you're passionate about and all that, it just helps in so many different aspects of your life.
That true fulfillment. Dom, what would you say, just in bringing it back to confidence and following that passion? What's kind of been something for you that you've had to overcome without much support, and you just had to trust in your gut and yourself?
So actually, it was actually pretty recent. It was last year. So Europe. It was my orientation. I'll never forget it. I seen the email from them saying, "Congratulations, you're going to be accepted. You're going to be enrolled." And I looked at it, and it said, "Do you accept?" And I had to step back for a second. And it made me nervous, because I was like, what if I can't do this? What if I don't make it through? What if I screw myself over somehow? I'm like kind of my own worst enemy and bring myself down. But I realized at the time I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. I was still working retail. I still hated it, but I just procrastinated. I talked about it, but didn't do anything about it. And I just took that chance. I said I had to break a loop. That's how I see things, as loops, and you just have to break them to overcome and progress. So I went with it. I had to trust in my gut, like you said. I went with it, and look at me now. I'll never regret it, and I grew from it. And I'm definitely grateful for it.
Awesome.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta just take a chance. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Take a leap of faith.
You'll always regret. I think people regret when they don't take those chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those what ifs.
And they look back, and you're exactly right. 3, 5, 10 years down the road, you're like, what if I would have done this, or what if I would have done that? So if your gut's telling you to take that leap, then that's probably the right way to go.
Yeah.
Because it's you take the chance, even if it doesn't work out. At least you say you tried, right? You don't have that what if.
You learn.
You know.
You learn from it. You know what I mean? So the goal is, though, if you're really passionate, is to take that leap, fail, learn. Take that leap again, fail, learn. And if you're passionate, then you're steadily going at the same thing, and you're learning more each time. And then you're getting closer to it.
Definitely.
And with that, it's trial and error, and you're building that confidence. It's okay, I did this last time. I know what to do next time.
Yep.
And it just keeps going.
That repetitive confidence. Absolutely. So again, if you're tuning in, we appreciate it. We'd love to hear from you. The number 708-223-8953. Tell us about a time that you've had to overcome a barrier challenge, and literally no one was on your side, right? You just had to dig deep and believe in yourself and just get what you wanted at the end of the day, right? To recap too, at least me, right? And all of this that we're conversing about, these are our thoughts and opinions. So we're not experts here. We're just here to hopefully share our thoughts and opinions and things that have helped us, and hopefully inspire others. The principles that have worked best for me: do the right thing, attitude is everything, don't let your emotions get the best of you, believe in yourself, set goals, stay organized. 85% of all jobs are filled by networking. Diligence is the father of persistence. If you don't have an education, you better have a craft or a lot of money. And even if you have all three, nothing in life is guaranteed. And lastly, be elite. So those are somewhat in order. I think some of them I hold a bit higher in terms of priority. And so that's for another podcast. For now, again, today, we're talking about confidence and just really what that means, right? What is the bare essence of that? How do you allow that confidence to give you the fortitude to maneuver through corporate America or into corporate America for those of you that are trying to find your passion, but into as you're learning how to define it, and then up and through as you're learning how to follow it. So that's what we really want to be talking about. Couple of definitions we'll just go over. And I guess tell me right off the bat, just tell me what comes to mind when I say the definition. Okay?
Sure.
The feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. Firm trust.
Trust.
Trust. You can't use what I say.
Can't use that word.
Hey, first time for the show for the game.
Okay.
Let's go.
I would say
just your own words and not just one word, if you could do that. Just paraphrase.
I would say believing.
I'll say it one more time. Just
sure,
so the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. Firm trust.
I would say what I get from that is being able to rely on.
It's hard. This is very hard.
I think it's being able to rely on what has got you to that point. Whatever has been working for you up until that point, you should always be able to rely on and go back to that. So that's what I get from that.
Okay. Dom, the state of feeling certain about the truth of something.
Now I could go on a whole tangent about that. It'd be a real deep.
Do it. I like it.
So man, a little imagery. I kind of seen that as like being inside yourself, like being in like your utmost unconscious part of you that knows better, the intuition part of you, the truth, exactly,
nature of your human being.
And like it kind of goes back from last week's the emotions. You can't doubt yourself, the confidence and the emotion. Like you can't doubt yourself, you can't talk yourself out of it. You have to believe in your true self.
Yeah.
And that's what it's telling you, the deepest part of you.
I like that. I like that. From the kid. We got any comments on there? Just check in. Make sure we don't have anyone.
We got a thumbs up.
Anybody good? No, just that thumbs up. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Comment. We want to hear words from you. Another way you can help out, I might have said this, if you know someone that inspires you, right, and the way they carry themselves in life, I'd love to connect with them, have them on the show. I'm sure that there's barriers and challenges they've had to overcome. That's what we're trying to get through to, because everyone can share the fun stuff, but what about the grind, right? Yep. And I think that's what people need to hear, like because you can't get there without the grind.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? My good friend Morgan Field, she is in the process of her second book, and she I may have said this before, but and I'll quote, the ninja mind is what she quotes it, will mess with your ability to get where you need to be. It will try and convince you or steer you away from the grind.
Silent
and
but deadly.
I love her for sharing that with me one day, because it motivated me to not let my mind take control over things that need to get done at the end of the day. You
Absolutely.
know?
Well, I just go back to that list that you mentioned, and the one that really stands out to me is attitude is everything. And I think about what you were just saying with your friend, the ones who wrote the 2 books in that quote. It's really just about your state of mind. There's going to be several detractors and people telling you can't do this and you can't do that, and it really just comes from that attitude that and that self-belief. So of waking up every day and coming with your A game.
Right here.
Yep.
Yeah. Mentally, physically, with all your heart, for sure. Awesome. One more. I'm going to give you one more. And what I want you to do with this definition is kind of try and draw it to an event in your life. I know it's kind of on the spot, but if you can, and let's try and work through that. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities.
Okay.
I'll say it one more time. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities.
Okay. So, okay. I have an example. So, ever since I had been in the recruiting game, I had never, until I got my own firm, I had never closed a 100K job, and that was a big thing for me. It was a goal of mine to be able to close my first job that was over $100,000, and I was always a little nervous to take those jobs because I had never closed a job that big and things of that nature. So. Several months ago, I was able to connect with a client that had a job that was going to be over 100K. And I knew for me to be able to get my company to the place that I wanted to be, I had to be able to have confidence in myself to take on these type of jobs. So, I made sure that I did my research and my due diligence and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. And took on the job and was able to successfully fill the job.
Nice.
And that really just gave me the confidence and the belief like, hey, I know I can do these jobs now going forward. There's no reason to be afraid of taking on these type of jobs. Just have the same type of approach that I had on this one and take that and mirror that with any other jobs that come on with that type of level, and I would be okay. So a lot of times it's about that first, right? If you're able to knock it out that first time, that gives you the confidence to move on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for those of you out there tuning in that are a little unfamiliar with the HR or recruiting industry, closing a deal, 100K deal, your own company, $20,000 to $25,000 in your pocket. Just one deal, just placing one person. That's big money talking. You know,
it's nice. You can pay a couple bills with that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it takes hard work, though. That takes, for one placement, I'd say we probably as recruiters talk to 50 to 100 people
easily,
right? Easily for one placement, right? And that's not, oh, hey, how are you? That's talking, determining what your motivations are, managing all the other variables that are going on in your life while we're trying to manage your motivations, whether that be counter offers, whether that be your significant other telling you that they want to have a baby next month, you know, or right. Just there's so many things that come up, right? I mean, So I wanted to give you guys the detail about what that means, because that's hard work and it's paid well for it. You know, so awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. Here's another quote from Shakti Gawain, one that I really liked. When I'm trusting and being myself, everything in my life reflects this by falling into place easily, often miraculously. And that's, for me, something that has started to happen just really in the past 10 years, honestly. I think it's happened my whole life. I just didn't have my eyes open. and I didn't have the right focus. And my focus is still a little off sometimes, right? But I think when you look at believing in yourself and what that means and pointing it in the right direction, I think you could do anything. You know, you just have to be like Walt Disney and believe that you're going to create a fun land for everyone. And he did. And no one believed in him. You know what I mean? So let me ask you a question, Darren, as we're going through here. How do you bounce back from failure? And while you're thinking about that, tune in at the end, because I do have a couple of tips for you guys. One of them's from a psychologist I did some research on, and another's from a sociologist. So if you are listening in, definitely want you to tune in. Would love for you to call in right now. We're here on intellectualradio.com. The number to call in, 708-223-8953. And if you're following on the radio, feel free to follow us on Instagram. All my Twitter feeds, all my handles are Your Passion 1ST. Again, that's your passion first. How do you overcome failure?
How do I overcome failure? Excuse me. Well, failure just kind of goes hand in hand with trying to reach your ultimate goals. It's going to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And I think it's all about how you handle it. You can handle it negatively in terms of letting it really deter you and weigh you down and ultimately get you to quit, or you can, spin it and use it positively and use it as fuel to get to that ultimate place. So for me, I come from an athletic background, so I'm a very competitive guy by nature. So I don't like to lose. You know what I mean? And so when failure hits me, I just try to come up with a plan B or plan C or plan D to still get to that ultimate place. That's kind of how I look at failure.
Awesome. What about you? You know what? Let's not do the same question. I'll give you another one because all of these are kind of tied in a little bit. How do you bring confidence from one part of your life to another?
Oh, wow. So how do I bring confidence from one part of my life to another? I would say you could remember what the feeling feels like, but you can't snap your fingers and it's there. You kind of have to remember the steps you took to get. Yes, the grind.
I remember the grind.
And you kind of have to manipulate the memory of the grind to something that relates to what you're grinding for now, and something that will make you feel good when you do this to give the extra edge. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what people forget to realize is the grind sometimes. And like getting there, the tasty part, that was the easiest part, right? And that's the part that feels great, but it feels better when you got there through all this thick and thin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, good answer.
I had a question for Darren though. So do you hoop?
I did. I did.
Don't hoop anymore?
Yeah. Well, it's
Don't lie.
It's over 40 league now. You need that, you know what I mean? So, but I still try to get out there every once in a while.
Okay.
He's a baller, man.
I was gonna say I'll take you up on that challenge.
You can do a little something.
That's funny because I don't play basketball, but I'll cross both y'all over.
That's heartbreaking, but it's okay.
How can you develop, and this is for either of you, how can you develop confidence if you never really had any role models around you, or you never had a way to build it? What would you say would be a good thing?
If you don't have any role models, I guess if you don't have any role models, I would encourage you to maybe draw from, friends, other support groups that you could rely on. I think confidence comes from, you have to kind of look at it like baby steps, like, and small wins. Small wins grow into big wins, right? And I think sometimes as people, we want that instant gratification. And, we've been talking about the grind and where you can really appreciate it when you truly grind for something. So I think confidence comes from small wins. Don't look at everything from such a big perspective. I'm not saying don't dream big, but if you have a big goal, use the type of approach of baby wins to get to that ultimate goal. And I think that's a good way to build confidence that way.
Yeah. I was speaking with and thank you for that answer. And spot on. Just little baby steps.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the point, I was speaking with a student today, and has a good job. He was actually a year up grad, and he's been at his current role like 6 or 7 months now. And he wants to do more, but he's not really doing more. And he's like, I just get home and I'm just not motivated. And I was like, well, what are you doing? Where do you want to be? Like, first of all, where do you want to be? He didn't really know. I said, well, you seem like you're motivated to want to do something though. And so first you have to uncover that. And the motivation sometimes just starts with doing something little. So I told him, start today of working out, because he said he used to like to work out. I said, what happened? And he's like, I just stopped. I said, start working out today. You have a gym membership. Go to the gym and pick how many more times you want to go this week, and just do it and commit to that. And then also commit to a plan for the next 2 weeks. So again, I say that to say we're going to catch up next week to see what that plan is he's committed to. But it takes little baby steps, right? Of putting together things that you have control over, right? You have control over working out, going to a gym, doing push-ups at home, doing sit-ups, right? There's certain things you do have control over. So you start with that base. At least that's what I did. That's what's helped me. But then you take that into other areas of your life that you've structured, right? You have to start to create that path, or start to uncover the things that you like to do and let those guide you into what you're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about, building good habits, right? It's about building good habits. Like, the workout, I think is a great analogy, because you start off working out 1 day a week, and then it goes to 2 days a week, and then it goes to 3 days a week.
It's quantifiable.
And then you start to build that habit of just going. Your body gets used to it. Your mind gets used to it.
And then it doesn't seem like a chore.
Exactly.
And it's just something you want to do.
Yeah. And you can apply that to so many things in your life, not only working out, but so many things in terms of building those good qualities over and
habits
over again.
Of life.
Good habits.
Yeah,
then it just becomes, your body and everything just becomes accustomed to doing it that way.
Right. Yeah. And if you're progressive, then you'll get accustomed to something, and then you'll want to do more, and then you want to do more. But it starts with just that base of building good habits, for sure. So what I will do, we'll wrap up a little early. I do want to give you guys a couple of pointers, though. There is a gentleman, his name's Nathaniel Brandon, and he wrote a book called The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. And he developed a strategy known as sentence completion. So in a sense, what you do, you take a sentence stem, like, for example, if I bring 5% more awareness to working out, then I would be here, right? And you do that once a day or every other day, and you pick out 5 to 10 sentence stems like that. So if I bring 5% more awareness to my IT security exposure or training, then I would, right? And finish those sentences. And that's a good way to start to create a plan for where you're trying to go.
I like that a lot.
You know what I mean? So if I bring just 5%, right, out of 100%, 5%, right? For me, 5% more working out is doing 10 or 15 more push-ups, right? It's not that much more.
Right.
But if you do it every day,
It adds up.
Yeah.
it adds up. But you got to keep doing it, okay? And when you fall off, you get back on. You add 10% the next day, right? Again, Nathaniel Brandon, 6 pillars of self-esteem. One other thing that helped me just in doing research on this, a lady by the name of Deborah Carr, she's a social psychologist at Rutgers. She talks about how it's natural for us to compare things and compare ourselves, right, to others. But she looks at it in 2 different ways. She looks at it as temporal versus social comparison, right? Temporal is comparing yourself to yourself, right? How are you progressing? A lot of us want to, I think, socially compare, right? Prime example. At my last company, I had a sales dude next to me that was killing it, right? Killing it. I was not killing it. I was doing other things though, right? Trying to, I had other motivations aside from just sales, right? I got in my head a little bit and compared myself to him too much, when really I needed to just focus on what I was doing, right? And how I was learning and how I was growing from last year and the year before, right? We need to stop comparing ourselves so much to others, right? Don't get me wrong, in the big scheme of things, there's all folks that we aspire to be like, but your growth is different than theirs.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
I also wanted to touch on that last question you asked about the failure. How do you deal with failure if you didn't have any role models? I really like that question, and the way I would suggest it is just you have to take a step back and see how far you've come without those role models, and ask yourself, you made those choices, and wherever you are, even if they were bad, you still learn from them. But if they were good, you know how that feels, and that should be enough. And that to give yourself that confidence to say, I can keep going.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you keep going. You just keep going. That's what the fight is about. That's what the grind is about. It's about just you keep going. You keep putting action towards things. If you would like to check out the book by David Bowden, that's where I got some of the research today. It's called Ready to Roar: How Shy, Quiet, Self-Doubting Guys Become Strong, Charming, Self-Confident Men. And so, I'll leave you with this. I think that confidence is a mental thing more than anything else, and you just have to build up to it. You can't let the ninja mind affect the grind, right? You need to grind, you need to keep putting on, and you need to have a pathway to do that too. So in order for us to help you, we'd love for you to call in. In order for you to help us, we'd love for you to call in. And we just want to hear from people that are overcoming barriers and challenges in their life, that are following their passion, that are passionate in multiple ways, right? Workplace is one way, but I think there's a lot of people that are looking for their passion and what they're passionate about. And I think there's a lot of people that may have lost it along the way. And so just wanted to create this open forum for us to talk about it, be about it, see how we can learn about it, and see how we can get better in an open environment. So thank you to my man, Darren Freeman.
Thank you.
Again,
Pleasure.
if you're looking for diversity
Pleasure being
hiring,
here.
Talent Hugh, hit him up.
Absolutely.
My boy Dominic Semino. He can't do consulting on his own yet, but he'll get there. He's going to get there. IT security guru. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, intellectualradio.com. You can follow me, all my handles. Your Passion First, Your Passion 1ST. See y'all next week.
Principles of passion.
Passion, a powerful, compelling emotion or desire for something.
Hey, this is Chris Thomas here on intellectualradio.com.
It's principles